We are about to save our wife in the real game, sister in the revised game. So, Mia, like I said, is your the beginning of her character. I wouldn't describe any of the characters as stereotypes. It's not a good idea to do so. But Mia is your teenager with a rebellious streak. She has a history of leaving the farm unannounced and returning at all hours of the night with, strange boys she meets. Um, she has a terrible reputation with the family, or a terrible, let's say, relationship with the parents, obviously. Stays away from Lucas more often than not, but Mia is the second oldest child. So you and Mia have kind of a distant relationship. Mia is kind of distant to everyone within the Baker family, but your connection to her was the closest because she kind of looked up to you before you headed off. And she was with, like your father, like Jack, she didn't want you to leave. So let's go ahead and twist around some of Mia's interactions here. Let me see if I can. Let's fuck around with some of the audio. Yeah. Oh, I can't change it. Fuck it. Alright, so you reconnect with Mia. You see she's locked in this strange room that's been added to the house. And she starts talking about how you're not supposed to be here. And how daddy's coming. And you're like, basically, Aaron is asking, where is dad? And why the hell, what's going on? What's happened to the house? Remember, instead of 3 years, we would make it 6 months of a change. So you're closer to where things go wrong. Closer to the zenith of the Baker family outbreak. So in this scene, we would have Aaron say, Mia, Zoe sent me a message, and it sounded like you were in trouble. It sounded like the family was in trouble. And she would say, no, that wasn't Zoe. Zoe wouldn't do that. Instead of her saying, I wouldn't do that. In the revised version, Mia specifically tells Zoe not to send any message to get you back. Obviously, because the house is fucking going to hell and there's all kinds of terrible shit going on. I just feel like a familial connection is so much stronger than your wife being the only character you're connected to. I do love the idea of betrayal, though. They do that so well in this game. Where, she goes berserk on you. Yeah, the English voice actor did it better. When she does it, she's like, it's gone, it's gone! Like, you can hear this scream, like this her voice breaks. I love that. That was such a well done take. Okay. So, Mia is apparently taken by forces unknown. Head up the stairs. And we're in the guest house. Obviously, this looks like years of decay. In the revised version, it would look a little bit better. It should look like it's old and worn, but it shouldn't look quite this old. Grab our healing items so we can deal with this possessed bitch. This is really cool how they get your attention over here and you come over here. Of course, this is one of the first spooks in the game, the real spooks. And it is so well done, it's pretty cool. If you notice, that actually didn't make any sense that she was that tall, since she was lowered to this, lower than you on the stairs. And here Mia would be talking about Zoe. This scene is fine, so I would keep it for the most part. I'd just keep it the same. When he asks, "What are you?" that, come on. Why the fuck? Who? No one talks like that. So I would never have him ask, "What are you?" Forced to defend yourself as your sister comes at you with a sharpened piece of wood. It's somehow creepier if you can't understand what she's saying. It reminds me of a Siren. Some of the texture work on the blood could do with some better use there. So you just murdered your sister. Put an axe in her throat. Instead of using these old telephones, because it really doesn't make any sense that Zoe knows just when to call you, we would have Aaron would actually have a cell phone, and Zoe would be calling the cell phone number, not some weird fucking, telepathic understanding that you're in the area to pick up a telephone call, because this really doesn't make any fucking sense. It also doesn't make any sense how the phone service is still working in this house. I understand the electricity, but not the fucking phone service. That's just ridiculous. Actually, the electricity doesn't make any sense either, because you got to pay electricity monthly, and they have not been paying electricity for 3 fucking years. And in my version, in the revised version, they wouldn't be paying electricity for 6 months. Still, you have to pay electricity every month, so it doesn't make any fucking sense. I guess they do have a generator, though. So maybe the electricity makes sense. But the phone sure doesn't. So Zoe calls you, and she's a little bit calmer. USOA, what the hell is going on? Where are you? And she tells you have to get out of there right now. Get out through the attic. Everything else is blocked off. You head on back. You see your sister is gone, Zoe. And here's the axe. I have no problem with these parts being in the game where it kind of just leaves you to figure things out on your own. Because you wouldn't have to come over here and do this by yourself. I actually prefer that. You know, it lets the player discover things. I would not have put that there. I would not have put her walking across like that. Like, that shit is, it's stupid. I mean, they did it once with Jack in the beginning and it was okay, but now they do it with me and it's kind of like, you know, instead of having her walk across the screen like that, which is already a cliche in and of itself, I would just have her like poke her head out like this. Say you're coming down and you turn right after opening the cabinet, you turn and I forgot the scene. You can see her like staring at you, and then she quickly runs off. You know what I'm saying? That's something like that would be creepier. Stab your hand. I would not have her grab a chainsaw too. I mean, it's kind of, what the fuck was the chainsaw doing there? You know. Instead, I would have her grab something like a big machete or something like that, because that would make sense for the area. You're in an area where you would need to cut down weeds and cut down foliage to get around. I also would not have this happen. The fact that so many limbs get decapitated in this fucking game and it seems not to affect anyone, including Ethan, who's supposed to be 100% human. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Your hand is not going to stop bleeding like that. She cut off important arteries. So you see how it's like popping blood there? It wouldn't stop doing that. And for some strange reason, it just stops. Like, it doesn't keep running blood. I mean, it's not like he cauterized the wound. See? That's ridiculous. Oh, some of it's still squirting out. Some reason. Oh, no way. My hand. My fucking hand. I never thought to do that. Now, usually in the game, later on you get your leg cut off, right? But you can just instantly attach your leg. In fact, you have to. You have to attach your leg back to survive, otherwise you'll bleed out. Alright, I would not have done this. It's clear that this game is a shooter because they immediately give you some random ass gun for no reason. I would not have put this gun in here. In fact, I would have had the environmentalist or the environmental artist craft an upper area where you could do it stealthily, and I would just have this whole sequence be a stealth sequence instead of a fight. Because it really doesn't make any fucking sense that you know, you come up here and you find a gun and ammo just laying around. It doesn't make any fucking sense at all. So instead of doing that, which is completely unrealistic, what you would do is have the upstairs area be crafted as though it is already conducive to stealth. And all you would have to do is, at first she sees you coming in when you try to leave. She cuts her way in. What you do is get around her, and when you try to get up there again, then Jack shows up and knocks you out. You know what I'm saying? That way it'll still make sense, and it won't be, you know, you pick up inexplicable gun, you know, out of nowhere. Of course, you could still choose the fighter with the axe if you wanted to, but it's, I mean, not a really good idea. This is really cool that I really like that. The first time I saw that, I was like, oh my god, what the hell? I just missed her by the skin of her hair. Fuck it, let's just lay into her. Uh-oh. There we go, she's done. When she lets go of the axe with one hand, you know she's done for. Right here, she would say, instead of saying I love you, she would say, Aaron, I'm sorry you came. I think that would be a much more foreboding thing to hear after having to kill your sister. And then you get punched by your father. And of course, instead of saying welcome to the family, son, he would say welcome back, son, or welcome back, daughter, or welcome back, not daughter, that's too informal, or welcome back, girl. You know what I'm saying? So he knocks your ass out, drags you back to the main house. So there would be that scene with Zoe, but of course she wouldn't be stapling your arm back on because, like I said, too many limbs get severed in this game, and it's kind of like severed limbs don't seem as devastating since you keep just putting them back onto your fucking body. So she would be giving you the watch in that scene and running off because the dinner is about to start, and she does not like being around the other family members. Alright, in this scene, you would see the family, but Mia would be standing right about there, and she'd be just like staring off into space because Evelyn's right there, and Evelyn would, of course, Evelyn wants Mia close to her at all times. Mia will act as Evelyn's bodyguard in the revised version. So if you come near her, Mia kind of loses it and goes berserk on you. Oftentimes you're gonna run into Mia. Mia's also like a nemesis character in the revised version. So you'll be going through the house and she'll show up in berserk mode and attack you. Kind of like how Jack does when he stalks you in the beginning. So of course your mom would freak out like this. She would call you an ungrateful bastard. She wouldn't say son of a bitch because then she'd be talking about herself. She runs off. Your dad's like, you should be ashamed of hurting your mother's feelings. Now I've got to punish you. Goes in, starts stabbing you up. And think of the player's emotions here when you know this is your father and he's doing these horrible fucking things to you. Instead of this being, you know, these weird people who you have no connection to, these are people who are supposed to be, you know, your family. They're supposed to be people who you can trust. Alright. We get loose. I wonder if you don't get loose if Jack will come back and just kill you. That'd be strange. I've never done that. Why am I searching for things? Wait, I guess I'm going to need them. I'm not using infinite ammo in this run. Let's see. So all of this is okay so far, but for the revised version, I would put a lot more emphasis on stealth, and you would have the ability to actually hide. I guess you could technically try to hide here, but it doesn't really look like it. There would be tables in certain areas and various things like this table here. You see how you can't go under it? In the revised version, you can actually get underneath tables and things like that to stay out of the way of enemies. That includes the molded. If they don't see you and you're under a table, then you will be concealed as long as you're not in the light. Oh, by the way, Aaron will talk about how when he or she gets up, we'll talk about how they don't know who this person is, and basically will say, "I'm sorry they did this to you. I'll try to get help. Just stay here." And so then you'll search around, walking down the hall. And as you're going down this hall, you'll get a flashback to the kids playing in the hallway together. And you'll actually be in the flashback playing directly. So you'll run further down the hall, and then Jack will spawn in front of you. Kind of like how he does here. And the flashback will end. So we're going to play on the character's mind like that, where they don't really know what they can trust. They can't really trust their eyes. And that, of course, will be a reflection of your infection that has already occurred. Or occurring during the game. So a lot easier stealth segments, a lot more direct stealth segments. I can't say easier, but a lot more direct stealth segments, because this game is not really a stealth game. I mean, they don't really have stealth down packed in this game. And one of the biggest reasons is that there are so many lights around, and if you think about it, it really doesn't make any sense for that light to be on. Like I said, even with the generator, I mean, you could say that, perhaps the wiring isn't good, because why the hell would the wiring be good at this point? And some of these lights can be off to make it easier for the player to actually utilize the stealth. This could have been a larger table that you could get underneath in case he comes back this way. This is something I wouldn't do as well. You see how Jack has kind of a random pattern? He has a bit of a pattern, but it's very random on how he decides where he's going to go and why. So instead of doing that, I would have it to where he has a set walk path until he finds the player. That makes more sense. And this way, it doesn't really seem like he has a set walk path. He may, but, I can't fucking tell. Also, generally, if you're going to do first-person stealth, you want to allow the player to peek around corners. Shit! Fuck you, cheater. That always seems to work for some reason. Whenever I get caught there. Once again, I would revise doors to where you can hold X as you're going through the door, and that will close it once you get through it. Instead of this weird, holding backward, because you have to interrupt your movement through the door to get through it. So you head under the floorboards here, and I think this is appropriately done, how you can hear him stomping around up there. Very well done. The detail down here is impeccable as well. The only big problem is the textures. Like, look how hideous that texture is. There we go, see? And then it straightened up. Weird, man. Really weird. I wish they would have fixed that, but I mean, it's not too late to patch it. Look at these fucking textures. Awful. And then it straightens up. Like, oh my god. That's still not very good, but whatever. Got the main house map. Of course, we got our Albert. Not going to use our invisible, what are they called? Our infinite ammo this time. Just don't feel like using it. Maybe if I run into trouble. I think the combining system is fine, other than the fact that it's kind of unrealistic. The fact that you have to add fluid to things, you know, fluid to, like, this magic fluid can be used on bullets and healing items and all kinds of other things. Kind of gamey, but whatever. It's not too big of a deal. Let's head on out. Once again, this would not be a call on a random phone. It would be a call on your phone. When Aaron answers this, Aaron would deliberately tell Zoe, do not just call me. You know what I'm saying? Even if your phone's on vibrate, because, you know, your dad's, you know, something. Aaron basically says, do not just call me. Something's wrong with dad. And she says, oh, okay, I'll text you from now on. You know what I'm saying? Before I call you. So that'll get rid of this stupid telephone sequences that are in the game. Or it won't get rid of them, but it'll make them make more sense. Instead of every time you're near a phone, it just happens to start ringing. So, Aaron wants answers here, but Zoe's kind of in a hurry and knows how desperate the situation is, and that would make more sense if the family has not been living with this for 3 years. The family's been living with this for 3 years, so it doesn't make any sense that, you know, Zoe's so desperate that she can't sit here and tell Ethan what is going on. So if it was like a 6-month period, a period closer to the initial outbreak, then it would make sense that she's like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know how much longer we have. But if it's been 3 fucking years, like, it kind of doesn't make any sense why she's all freaking out like this, you know? All right. I really shouldn't even use the X-ray glasses, but fuck it. I figure if I ever have a chance to grab all these stupid things, why not? And some of these items are really well obscured, so it'll help us find them. So we're about to meet poor deputy here. I would certainly have him show up immediately after you end the call with Zoe. Not you have to wait until, you know, you get to this point for this jackass to start pounding on the window. Oi, oi. That's a British word. What the hell are you talking about? Alright. So you meet poor deputy, and he's telling you, you know, we got some reports about crazy shit going on. You say, this is my family home. Something's wrong with my family. Please help me. They're crazy. And he says something like, yeah, well, motherfucker, you're the one that looks crazy, all right? You know what I'm saying? So, and you say, help me, they're trying to fucking kill me, asshole. You know, and he's like, alright, you're the fucking crazy one here, dickhead. Of course, he wouldn't say the outsider comment or he might say the outsider comment since he hasn't seen you around. But what I would do is remember emotional connections. I would give these two a connection. They've seen each other before. They've gone to school before. You know what I'm saying? They don't necessarily have to be like best friends or anything. I think that would seem kind of hokey if he just happened to be your best friend. I mean, that's possible, but what I would do is that you have a vague connection with him because you've seen him before, you've gone to school with him perhaps, and you know, now you're suddenly back in your family home and you know it's all dilapidated and there's been weird shit happening and now you're back and he's like, why the fuck are you back here all of a sudden? So he gives you his knife after you've saying that crazy shit is going on with your family members and that they've been trying to hurt you, and he tells you to meet him in the garage. So we're gonna go ahead and have our first encounter with Daddy. Well, I guess our second encounter, but it's the first boss fight with Dad. Jackie boy himself. What am I hearing? Oh, that? Why is it making all that noise? What the fuck? Weird. Hearing like a bicycle noise. What the fuck was that? That's that spider sound. That's what that is. Alright, we pop this bad boy open. Meet poor deputy. And I certainly would not have poor deputy die here. I would have it to where poor deputy can die throughout the story, but you can save him and have him escape with with what's left of the family by the end of the revised game. But of course, there's several ways he could die throughout the game, and as you save him, you'll be unlocking trophies for doing so and special things throughout the game, or special completion items for the end of the game. But unfortunately for poor deputy, this is RE7, so he's about to get his fucking head split. I just don't see the point in introducing a character just to fucking kill off the character. It's stupid. It's a very bad idea. Anytime you see that in a movie or a book or a video game, it's never interesting. Because you have no connection to this guy. Like, yeah, his death is brutal as fuck. But at the same time, you're like, dude, I also do not give a shit because I don't know this guy, you know? He's just some innocent, sure, but we don't want to get in yet because Jack will pull us out, so we'll get over here. As long as you don't do too much damage to him, he won't immediately try to get in the car, and he will basically hotwire the fucking car as if or he'll actually get in the car and act as if he has the car keys if you do too much damage to him. So it's pretty fucking stupid that he does that, but it's also stupid that he walks in front of the car like this. Dumbass. So the whole time this is happening, Aaron is begging Jack to stop, you know, stop, Dad, don't do this, please, you know, whatever. And you're getting dialogue from Aaron that will give context to his or her feelings at the time. And of course, when you have to run your fucking father down with a car to stop him, that's pretty horrible shit, you know, after you hit him several times with it and he's not dead. In this scene, you would hear Aaron say, "Oh my God," or is you know, basically being surprised at the fact that you just killed your father, and then he tears the roof off. It helps with the surprise when he does stuff like that after you already thought he was going to be dead. So instead of saying, "I'm going to take you for a ride," he'll be like, he'll say, It's like when you were learning. It's just like you were learning. When you were learning, excuse me. Seeing as he's the one that taught you to drive. Some pretty creepy shit there. Alright, Jackie boy's all fucked up. You look over to your dad. Stumble out of the car. Walk away a bit. Car lights up. At this point, if you keep poor deputy alive, he will actually be shooting at Jack the entire time and doing damage. Uh-oh. That stopped him for quite a while. Uh-oh. And poor deputy will be the one to pull down the ladder if he lives through this. So, got Daddy's dead roasted body there. We've got to grab the G17, which is actually a better gun to use when you have infinite ammo. Not in this case, though. And as he comes to you, you'll hear poor deputy say, you know, something like, "Watch out, look out, he's up." Then he shoots himself in the head like a fucking psycho. And then poor deputy will push his way past you and climb the ladder to get the fuck out of here. All the while commenting on how crazy your fucked up father is. You have no choice but to follow poor deputy up the ladder here. You can actually press X on that to start unlocking it, and then you can cancel out of that and move this out of the way, and then grab it again and actually just grab the statuette out. I've seen somebody do that for a speed run. Pretty crazy. But from there, you and poor deputy will be commenting and talking about what the fuck is going on and how nobody really knows anything. What I would do is I would put a room here, just some kind of guest room or whatever, and Zoe's in there. So Zoe, instead of having weird save rooms where enemies just don't trod for some reason, or don't tread, you would have hovels that Zoe has made. She's kind of made holes in the walls that lead into under the floorboards, and under those floorboards you start to unlock paths that are connected throughout the house that lead to safe hovels that she has inside the walls of the house and under the floorboards of the house. So instead of your save rooms just being, you know, random save rooms out in the open, where anybody like Jack can just walk in and fucking murder you, you'll have these particular areas where it makes sense that he has not found it yet. So in that last area where we were, poor deputy and Zoe would be in there, and as you're going under the floorboards with them, we would have Jack reappear, and he'd break through the floorboards and kind of separate you and them two. And you would see that scene that I'm about to see in the bathroom where he, you know, regrows his head and he's like, hell of a thing, and it beats the hell out of dying or whatever. So, I don't think we'll need those antique coins. I guess we can get the reload speed. Because you, in the revised version, you'd actually meet up with Zoe directly, you would not have this scene happen with the phone. She would just tell you, Dad's going crazy. He set up locking mechanisms all over the house. I think the front door needs 3 dog heads, something like that. She'll say something like that, basically, telling you how to get out. So after that, you can also find, not that. There's particular information where I think Lucas is talking about how Jack has somebody tells you where the 3 dog heads are. I forgot where exactly that information is. But basically, you can find it. I think it might be in the rec room, the recreation room. You'll see the old lady again. Aaron comments on, how'd you get up here? You know, how'd she get up the steps with a fucking wheelchair? How'd that happen? So Aaron would specifically ask how she got up here, and then seeing obviously she's not going to respond, you just move on. Did I get that chem fluid? Yeah, I used it on bullets. That's cool. Not gonna spawn Jackie Boy yet, unless he spawns on us. Hippie piece of shit. From the hall to the processing area. I think she's talking about Clancy, because Clancy's got long hair. Hit this Mr. Everywhere. Alrighty. Like I said before, you wouldn't have the VHS situation going on where they're just random fucking VHSs around the place for no reason. Because that really doesn't make any fucking sense, especially since this game takes place in 2017. I don't give a fuck how far out in the sticks these people are. A VHS, man, really? Come on. That, if it even is in the revised version, would definitely be CDs, not fucking VHSs. And they wouldn't just be sitting out in the open, you know. You would find them in particular areas, and then you'd find a CD player and play it that way. That door closed a little hard. Let's head on down here. Put that first dog head in. I think the dog head locations are fine. They don't really do anything special, so. But this is an important time to talk about why this first area would be set up like this. You done? No, it isn't. I will see you later, and I'll explain this area later.
Fuck right off, people.
No, don't fuck right off. Stop talking to them. Goodbye.